Good afternoon, Wildcat family. Shelley, Arrott, Superintendent of Ponca City Public Schools. It is Tuesday, November the 10th, and I am recording this video to talk to you about the transition to distance learning at Ponca High that will begin on Wednesday, November 11th, and last through the end of the day on Tuesday, November 24th. I do want to let you know that the 25th begins our Thanksgiving holiday, so that means Ponca High students, all Ponca High students who are not under quarantine or isolation, will return back to Ponca High on November 30th. And I want to give you just a little bit of details about this decision and why it was made. We have been tracking our data, as you know, since week one, and I have been communicating that data to our public. And before last week, we had two really good weeks with low numbers of people affected. And one thing that we do, we track our percentage of people affected by site on a daily basis. So we calculate our percentages by quarantines and isolations that go out or come back in. So it's valid real-time data, and you can find it on our website, www.pcps.us, our contact tracing totals spreadsheet. And over a period of less than 36 hours, beginning on Saturday, the 7th, through Monday, the 9th, we had 7 in-school positives at Ponca City High School that resulted in contact tracing. Oftentimes we may have an in-school positive, but there may not be contact tracing because the student wasn't at school during the infectious time. But I can tell you a little bit about our numbers at Ponca High. As of today, at this time, 32% of our Ponca High students are out on quarantine or isolation. That's a lot of students. Previously, the high before this 32 was 10 to 12% at Ponca High. So we have actually tripled in a matter of 36 hours. And we can manage isolated cases, but we can't manage it when it's widespread. So hence the decision to transition to distance learning. And the purpose of this is to try to remain vigilant to help stop the spread. So I want to encourage you, if you are meeting with another individual, I want to encourage you and your children to wear a mask. If you are meeting in a group gathering outside the people who are in your home or that you typically have contact with, social distance, more than 6 feet. It can be done. It's a deliberate and it's a thoughtful process. And continue with hand washing. We know those 3 W's, wearing the face covering, watching your distance, and washing your hands, help stop the spread, or at least slow the spread. Our number one goal behind the safety of our students, our staff, and community is that we maintain face-to-face instruction with as many students as we can. And unfortunately and regrettably, it came to this for Ponca High, but today we are still working 2 more additional cases. So it is spreading pretty quickly through Ponca High, and my limited experience with COVID-19 is that it does spread rapidly. I will tell you that at all of our other sites, it's contained. We haven't heard from a positive either that results in a contact trace since Friday, and that was at East Middle School. We have 1 or 2 positives that have resulted in a contact trace. Currently, we do not have any of our elementary classrooms under quarantine. And if there's a student at an elementary site that tests positive, the whole class goes under quarantine because they're in their same class all day long and the viral load is high. So there is a significant difference between Ponca High and all the other sites. So I want to encourage you to please follow those protocols. We can control them in school, but we can't outside of school. But I am urging you to please help us slow this spread so we can get our kids back in school and not have to quarantine. If it's limited, we can manage it, but if it's widespread, we cannot, and the safety is the utmost importance. Now, one thing that I want to tell you about our students who are going on distance learning at Ponca High, we are offering meals to our students, and I have sent out a press release. It's at www.pcps.us and our Facebook page, discussing the specifics of how to pick up those lunches. And I'll give you just a quick synopsis. We ask that you call the Child Nutrition Office. The number is on the press release. 3 o'clock the previous school day, just to let us know so we can plan. Our child nutrition program is going to plan grab and go lunches and hot lunches. We're going to have meals available for kids, but it will certainly help us if we can plan to know that number. And those will be picked up at the 5th Street location at the high school, like we did when we were in closure back in the spring. Now, I will tell you that this Friday, November 13th, we are still going on with our school-wide distance learning practice day, which Ponca High will be on distance learning anyway because of the surge in COVID cases, but the rest of the district will also be doing a practice day. And here's what I can tell you from our sites that have had to go on closure, Ponca High and Garfield previously because of lack of staff. Those practice days made a world of difference for the students and the families and the staff. So that's why we have them. We knew that that could be a possibility when we chose to go the face-to-face instruction route. So I just wanted to touch base with you about some mitigating strategies that I need you to help us with so we can get our kids back in school. Another issue that we are seeing, if your child is exhibiting symptoms of COVID-19, a fever of over 100 degrees, a persistent cough, a shortness of breath, a big one is lack of sense and lack of smell, do not send them to school. Get them tested for COVID and do not send them to school until those test results come back. Here's what we found in several cases, what our data is telling us and what experience is telling us, that students may exhibit some symptoms and then they stay home from school and then all of a sudden they begin feeling better and they think that, false alarm, it wasn't COVID, and they come back to school. What we have seen in several cases is that these symptoms occur again after about 24 to 48 hours, and then the student tests and they come back positive. And how contact tracing works, we go back 48 hours prior to the onset of symptoms per CDC guidelines. So please keep your kids home if they're exhibiting symptoms, because you could get a sense of security if those symptoms go away, but our experience tells us they will come back. As always, feel free to call us at 580-767-8000. Dr. Hawkins, the principal at the high school, is going to put out a press release with contact numbers for the high school when we're on distance learning. I will tell you that our staff who are not on quarantine or isolation will be in the building. Their resources are there. They will be contacting students. They will be instructing live via Zoom. They will be submitting assignments through Google Classroom. We have a tech coach that is providing lots of assistance, and our teachers are ready to serve your children. But I know it's not ideal, but we must stop the spread or we're not going to have any high schoolers in the building anyway. So it's a tough and tedious decision, but it's the right decision to make for the safety of our students. We've tripled in our data at Ponca High alone, and we're hopeful this break will give us the opportunity to slow the spread and get back to normal whenever we return. Things can change always for any site, and I will continue to update you weekly through press releases, at push notifications. Stay connected with us and we will keep you informed. Our goal is to have our students here, but during the global pandemic, it's going to take all of us working together. I appreciate you all so much for supporting Ponca City Public Schools and the Ponca City Wildcats and our students. Thank you so much.